What's good, y'all? Welcome back to episode 2 of our season 2 Madden franchise here, and immediately we're gonna have a big game. It's gonna be the Packers versus the Steelers, and immediately it looks like it's gonna be a 3-and-out. But then Varga throws a missile over the middle, and we were talking about this. I believe we were talking about this. If Varga can handle the pressure, as I say that, from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the rookie Brian Montez ends up making a forced fumble and recovery on Varga. So, you know, Montez is no stranger to going against great quarterbacks, and I think him going against Varga is a good test. But it's also a good test for this Packers O-line to go against the Steelers defense. And immediately Jalen Carter, who has been such a monster in all aspects of the game, run game, pass game, and there he comes up big. But right now it's looking like a really big defensive game here as it's 0-0. But that ends up being not the case anymore because LaJarvis Best ends up getting the first touchdown. And Cole Norton makes a nice move on 2 plays back to back, and he ends up scoring himself. So that ties it up 7-7. And I'm not going to lie here, Varga was getting a lot of pressure. I think his O-line wasn't really ready for this level of D-line. And I think that, Varga he has experienced some level of adversity in college with having a bad O-line, but for the most part, he's had a very good O-line. So I think this is a good wake-up call in the NFL to see if he can really make things shake, even if he doesn't have the time that he's used to in college. And so far, he's doing a good job. I mean, it's 14-7 with time expiring, and he almost threw it over the middle for a touchdown. But I think that's the backup safety for the Steelers. Ends up getting the pick. I'm not really sure why he's on the field. I'm pretty sure we have other people better than that. I think when I was coaching, I was surprised that he was even on the field as well. But hey, he made an interception. And Quay Walker with bruised ribs. So that's going to be something to look out for this Packers defense. But we end up kicking a field goal. They make a great stop on defense. And now it's just all up to this offense to see if they can get something done again. And Jahad Campbell makes a nice play and immediately throws a bomb. 4th and 12. What a play for Varga, but another pressure for the rookie who has had a very good day. I had insiders tell me that Jalen Carter was being such a monster that they ended up putting Tristan Wirfs on the inside, so they put their best O lineman against our best D lineman. So not a surprise, honestly. Jalen Carter's been such a monster, and he's honestly the most problematic person to go against on the D line. So I'm not surprised that they made that change. And oh my goodness, Cole Norton goes up top, gets that head top, and we were waiting for Nick Harbor's big play of the game, and here it is. He ends up going all the way. I think that's a 70 or 80 yard run. Beautiful blocks and beautiful read from the running back getting all the way down there. Yet another injury, which is Elliot Parker, who got drafted last season. I don't know if you remember. He's had a kind of a struggle ever since coming to the league. Many people think that he came a little bit too early to the league, which myself included. I think he would have done amazing things, even bigger record-breaking seasons there at South Dakota there. But nonetheless, you try to get your bag, and he ended up getting it. So you can't really talk trash on somebody who went to the NFL, but we can say is maybe he went early, and that could have stunted his growth, and now we have to wait for more of a project D lineman than we were expecting for the Green Bay talent. But nonetheless, Anthony Richardson goes all the way, making a 30-yard run, going to the end zone, and that's not something that we were going to think. We thought it was going to be more of a shootout game where it ended up being a 38-21 loss for the Packers. I definitely think the Packers are just as good as the Steelers, and we'll probably see these two teams face off later on during the season because the Cowboys and the Packers are obviously the two teams that you want to see later in the season. But it's just depending on if the Cowboys can capitalize. Oh my goodness. I can't even speak about what we just saw because Ben Becker just goes up and makes a man I don't even know what you call that, man. That is embarrassing if you're that DB. But before we get into this game against the Patriots, I do want to say that, oh my goodness, Derek Stingley, that Green Bay, all they have to do is just really figure out a way to get the ball out of Varga's hands quickly. and they would have much success, especially with that run game with Nick Harbor and Darnell Mooney as the two pack-a-punch running backs there. But we're looking like a pretty easy game for New England Patriots, 24-0 starting the second quarter. And Little, who had a lot of struggles in his senior season as a San Jose Tech quarterback, looking pretty good, honestly, in the NFL. And I think that's what I was saying back, I don't know if you remember, but back in the last episode of Little's career, I believe that was maybe the second to last episode of last season for college, I was saying that maybe it's just time for Little to go on, and maybe some players don't need to show that they need to go in the NFL. They just go because they're ready for a next level of play. Whereas some other teams, like let's say South Dakota, Jalil Varga and Kiki Little were putting up similar numbers. It's just the fact that his numbers looked a lot worse because there wasn't that much blocking and there's a lot of interceptions happening, a lot of pressure. So I think the team was really holding back Kiki Little, and I think he's doing a great job in the NFL thus far. And they end up getting a great win over Washington, and Washington goes back-to-back weeks going with Cowboys, which is not something that you want to do if you're a Washington Commanders fan. I mean, first you have the Patriots going against you, and now you have the elite offense of the Cowboys. And as soon as I say elite offense, we have Drango fumbling, which is something we never see. But we see Jaden Daniels getting a nice run game there, and they end up getting a nice win over the Commanders as well, which is pretty much what we expected. I didn't expect the Commanders to come back in the second half of that game, but oh my goodness, a fumble, and DK Metcalf goes all the way to the end zone as well. I mean, what is the point of fumbling the ball if we're just going to not pick it up? But we end up getting stopped on the offensive drive after the touchdown, and they end up scoring again. So now it's looking like 14-0, and they stop us again. So it's really not looking good for this Pittsburgh offense. I mean, they've done horrendous these last couple of games, and it's time to hurry up and start making that move. But Cole Norton is always someone who starts up these type of drives here, trying to throw it up to Taj Rivers, but he looks like a fish out of water. And right now, I'm gonna be honest with you, 30-7, not somewhere we want to be if we're a Steelers offense. Donahue makes a nice catch off a nice throw. 4th and 3, another nice pickup. We're gonna see if we can get something big here, and Donahue gets the first touchdown. We get a stop. Oh, no, we don't get a stop. It's 40-15, and I think this game is over. I thought we were gonna try to mount a drive here. No, we are not. I forgot about this game. We got towards, I believe we get one more. Yep, Donahue makes a nice move there, but nonetheless, 40-22 is not a big, not a game that we thought we were gonna be losing to, especially against the Cardinals. No offense, because I've been trying to build a better offense week to week. I think our defense is obviously solidified as one of the best defenses in the league, no question. But the offense is, the offense sometimes can do really bad things and really great things. And I think the high and low lows thing has to come to a minimum, because if we can keep the offense to a nice steady pace, I believe that we can go farther than if we go up and down super big. But no, that's enough talking about the Steelers, where we have, Green Bay just doing very good against the Rams, who's been a great team, great offense, especially with that quarterback. And Nick Harbor, especially. Nick Harbor has been the bell cow of this team, as you will. I mean, he's keeping up numbers with Drango, which is very impressive, as we know Drango is a genetic freak. And not only that, but we're having Jalil looking like a very big veteran presence here, throwing up big bombs to Braden Walters, who had been quiet in his rookie season, but is making strides in his second season, and I'm very happy to see that. And they get a big win over the Rams. And here we go. We have the Chiefs now against the Patriots, and the Patriots quick drive in the first drive, very impressive, as the rookie what's his name, man? I forgot his name. What the hell? JD Kimball. There you go. JD Kimball gets that touchdown. Very impressive for him, as he's running a very good campaign. I think, he's always going to be overshadowed by Ben Becker, but if he can solidify himself as that wide receiver 2 over Westbrook, I think that'll be very good for his career. And they throw an interception, if you know, sometimes we know Kiki Little's a gunslinger. Sometimes you're gonna get touchdowns or it's gonna be interception. Something that we come to expect from this quarterback. I mean, he's not really been a decisive game manager where he'll just pick apart a team. He's more of a person where it's just like he's just gonna throw them bombs, whether it's a touchdown or an interception, because you know he's gonna look like a hero or he's not. You know what I mean? There's no in between there for Kiki Little, which I like to have a quarterback like that sometimes, because in those big moments you make those big plays, and I think that's exactly who Kiki Little is, as he makes another nice throw to Booty, getting down to the 20-yard line, and Kiki Little gets another one, making it into the red zone, and a nice touchdown for Whitfield, which I don't know who that is, but he ends up getting the touchdown. Nice from him. And oh my goodness, I don't know who 82 is, but he just made someone touch earth. And Patrick Mahomes gets a touchdown, making this 28-21 at the halftime. They end up getting the ball back. This is a big stop for the Patriots here. They end up getting the stop and getting to midfield as Ben Becker throws a dude off of him. I'm telling you, bro, this dude Ben Becker, ever since he came from college, I didn't think he was going to be as explosive of a player as he is, but he's really come into his own as a second-year player. Because if we look at Braden Walters, right, I'm very impressed with how Braden Walters has bounced back in his second season, but Ben Becker has been insane in both seasons. Like, if you really put into perspective how Braden Walters and Ben Becker are in the same class, oh my goodness, Westbrook, what a catch from him. But if you put them side by side, you really realize, damn, like, those are the same class. And then you try to put in how great Ben Becker is compared to the other players in his draft class. They end up losing, though, which is not a big thing, not a great thing, not a great thing that you want to see from the Patriots, but you know, nonetheless, they end up getting a nice couple of plays there. So I think Kiki Little has to work on just putting his team in a great position to win. You know, got to know when to audible some of those times and get some runs in to scoop up that clock, because they were winning in the first half of that. I think it's just that they let the defense kind of get dwindled out because they're on the field too long. And so yeah, here we go. We got the Browns here against the Steelers. Not a team that we really feel threatened by, honestly. And I know I just say that as he just threw a dime and he just crossed our safeties, but it's the Browns. I'm not, you know, like the Steelers always own the Browns, and that's exactly why. I mean, why is there a safety not even in the area code of our player? And another nice throw on, oh my goodness, to Tyne winding down, and he ends up getting it to Thornton back-to-back plays. We have Darnell Washington, who had a big season last season, trying to pick up some more yards for him. And we get in the red zone with another Thornton catch. So Thornton, being a great player in this game against the Browns, ends up getting the touchdown for himself. And Norton has a walk-in touchdown. Who, I mean, he's honestly the best route runner on this team. Even though Donahue's always open, I think Norton is for sure the best route runner on this team. And I just don't know. I think I think Donahue has that type of Travis Kelce type of route running, where it's like you're not expecting him to be open all the time until he's open. Like, I don't know how nobody can guard him, but nobody can. 62-10, like I said, not a very big threat for the Steelers here. So now we're going to have a game against the Titans, who I'm expecting the Patriots to win against this. I mean, the Titans aren't really impressive of a team. I mean, you got Cam Ward, but besides that, I don't really remember too many people on this team. And Cam Ward makes a nice throw, though. He does. I'm not going to say he's not good, because he is. 3rd and long for Cam Ward, though. And a nice tackle for Kroom, forcing a field goal on what would have been a first down gain if he had not gotten down there. And Antonio Gibson, huge touchdown there. I mean, it's pretty much unguarded, though. Cam Ward steps up. That was not what I was expecting. He ends up getting his nonchalant self into the end zone. And J.D. Kimball makes a nice route, and so does Ben Becker. And a huge throw to J.D. Kimball again, who, like I said, very big rookie season for him. I think he has been doing great things. Obviously, there's a stacked receiving room, so it's kind of hard to get. It's probably the second most stacked receiving room besides the Cowboys. I think Cahill is going to obviously be outshined, because Cahill just has so many people to go against in that receiving room, so he's always going to be that 3rd or 4th unless people get traded away. But J.D. Kimball putting his name out there and really making sure that his name is known as a great rookie receiver. And oh my goodness, Ben Becker double spin move gets extra yards there. I mean, what is he doing? Turning into a Beyblade, and Antonio Gibson gets another touchdown. So I'm hoping that's Antonio Gibson, because if that's not, and I'm just saying Antonio Gibson, then I don't know who that is. But who 86 just turned into Thanos, because he just broke 3 tackles and went to the end zone. I'm not really sure how he did that, but here we go with Kiki Little with a huge throw to JD Kimball, who has already had a great game, and he gets another one, breaks a tackle, and goes to the end zone, but he fumbles. Oh my goodness, man. JD Kimball, bro, you can't have such a nice play like that. Throw a man off of you and then fumble the ball, bro. Come on. Ben Becker tries to get the touchdown that would have been JD Kimball's, and a nice, oh my goodness, I was about to say a nice run fill, but what a nice just fumble. I mean, oh my goodness, what a hit from that linebacker. I did think that was I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name because I forgot it. But the defense does really good. I think they just don't commit on 4th down, but Kroom read that play to a T, looking like Deion Sanders coming down there in the flat, getting a touchdown off of that pick 6. And Kiki Little, 57-27, gets another touchdown with Westbrook. And this is just bullying at this point, but he ends up trying to get an interception. But Kiki Little throws up a wide open Becker, who gets another touchdown, making it 71-27. Huge win for the Patriots. And now we're gonna go look at a interesting start to the game, where we have the Cowboys getting an interception thrown to the Bills, but then they end up scoring, and they score, so it's 7-7. Damian Farrow, huge. And I'd be forgetting about Damian Farrow because I personally like Cahill more, but then I forgot Damian Farrow was obviously the bigger prospect coming out of the college for that Florida State team, and I mean for good reason. I mean, Damian Farrow has been probably one of the best contested catchers in college for the last 2-3 years now, and I think his name is kind of undershadowed because Florida State just can't get over the hump of that semi-final round or quarterfinal round, you know. But people should really know Damian Farrow's name, because he's really that contested catcher, deep threat guy. And oh my goodness, Drango makes people miss. Ends up getting a big win, 42-28 or 21 against the Bills. I didn't see it. And immediately huge run out of the Raiders. Oh my goodness, Ashton Jeanty. What is he doing? They end up getting stopped right after, though, and they go all the way for 6. And that's something I've seen from the Steelers time and time again, is that they'll let up a huge play, but then they'll lock in the red zone and then either get a turnover or they'll force a field goal. Like, that happens so often, where it's just like, I'm not even worried about a big play from the offense if I know the defense is going to lock in. But a fumble from Taj Rivers, which is not something you want to see out of a backup trying to get a name for himself. I did leave him on the squad. You know, I wanted to replace him in the offseason just because he's great, but he's not like an elite receiver. But, you know, I wanted to give him a chance, and honestly, he's been doing all right. I haven't really had too many problems with him, but there can always be more game changers on the team that can make the game easier for the quarterback and the coaching staff as well. But, you know, nonetheless, Turpin, who I added in free agency, who has been a very good gadget player and a good returner, ends up getting a nice gain off of that. And HN getting down to the red zone and a touchdown to Donahue, who gets us 28-6, and a huge throw from Norton to Norton. Sorry, not from. He's not a quarterback. Oh my goodness, what a grown man catch from Thornton again. Huge run from Anthony Richardson, getting in for 35-6. I don't know why I sound like a British person there. And we're just gonna see a bunch of bombs. And oh my goodness, Cole Norton going up over 2 people. I mean, I don't. That's like the weirdest looking head top, but it was a head top. And oh my goodness, again and again. What the Norton is just going up top, getting hella head tops from everyone. But huge win, 49-13 against the Raiders. And now we're gonna have, oh my, what a pancake block to start this game out, making a man miss, getting down towards red zone field, and Harburg does it himself this whole drive. I mean, very impressive defense. Forces them a field goal, and yes, so now it's 7-3 now, and Nick Harburg gets a nice run, and Jalil throws it up to Braden Walters, and Braden Walters goes up, gets the head top, but I'm pretty sure they get stalled out on that drive. And it's not something you normally see out of the Green Bay Packers. Usually it's pretty consistently once they get in the red zone is pretty much a touchdown. But you know, not everything happens every time. And oh my goodness, Nick Harbor gets into the end zone after 2 nice cuts, and now we're gonna have Bijan getting a nice gain there. But they, you know, it's 4th down. I don't know why they ran it on fourth and long there. But Nick Harbor, huge run out of him, gets the touchdown. And now it's 21-17 off of the Bijan touchdown. Bijan's kind of carrying the team right now for the Falcons. Huge catch from Wilson and nice RPO to Tucker Kraft just at the end of the half there to get it to 28. They force a field goal, which they miss. So great stop by the defense, letting up no points on that drive. And Christian Watson, who has been such a physical receiver this season, ends up breaking a tackle and getting in the end zone on 4th and 7, which is a huge catch and a huge move to get there and continue that drive there. Huge catch from Matthew Golden. And as I was saying, Jalil's, he's kind of steamed off of Matthew Golden the last couple of games. You know, in the first couple of games, it was him and Matthew Golden as a huge connection between each other. But I think him and Braden Walters have found a connection here instead of Jalil and Matthew Golden. So, and then Christian Watson just takes that onside kick attempt and goes over the house, which is pretty funny to me. But huge win for the Green Bay Packers against the Falcons, and now we're gonna have the Jets going against their rivals, the Patriots. But immediately, Antonio Gibson, huge run out of him. I mean, he's pretty old, so it's pretty surprising for an older running back like him to really be that dynamic. But Trayvon Henderson, huge run from him. I think he could have followed his blocks a little bit better there, but huge run nonetheless. I think they got a touchdown, but I think they went for 2, I believe, because they have 6. So, and then that same fullback from last game, he ends up getting a nice touchdown for himself. So huge run for him. They end up getting in the red zone and they run it in with Breece Hall. I believe this is Breece Hall's contract year, so you could see him move on to another team. I'm not totally sure. Huge touchdown for the Patriots, making it 20-14. I think at some point they're gonna have to do a 2-point conversion to try to make up for the lost points. And a pick 6, which is not something I was gonna see here out of Kiki Little, but you know, he's a rookie. He's gonna make mistakes, even though that's not really a mistake that you want to have out of quarterback in you know, so high in the draft. And a huge fumble in the red zone. I think the Patriots have had a lot of fumbles in the red zone, and I think that's really been what's holding them back is the turnovers on their own team. I think they've just been losing the ball more than they should have. And defense makes a nice stop, so now it's 35-34. The offense couldn't get it done, so the Jets are back on offense again. They kick another field goal, so now it's 40-35. And Ben Becker, who has been, you know, the Superman of this team, ends up getting a touchdown, and they end up winning. Huge play for Ben Becker. I mean, he's been the person kind of carrying this team here, putting the team on his back, and it's no surprise that he's been the best receiver in the NFL for the 2 seasons that he's been in the league so far. I mean, no one else really could be as dominant, you know, head topping or running after the catch as he has been. And it's pretty impressive, the type of streak he's been on. And talk about impressive, Donahue, another touchdown for him. I think he's collectively being the most targeted receiver in the Steelers wide receiver room, and that's something to see. That's something that we were kind of expecting out of Donahue. Huge interception out of Stephen, picking off Matthew Stafford, and he goes for 2 picks, hitting the I almost said the freshman, the rookie Bourne. We haven't really seen a lot of Bourne because we have 2 good corners out of Joey Porter and Sauce Gardner, so we don't really have a need to have him on the field at all times. But that could be subject to change. I think maybe I could move in a different direction and go ahead and get rid of Sauce Gardner, or go ahead and get rid of Joey Porter. Huge loss for us. I mean, I thought we were gonna win that game, but there's a lot of turnovers during the second half of that game where I just wasn't really liking how Anthony Richardson was throwing the ball. Me personally, it was kind of embarrassing, but nonetheless, you know, oh my goodness, Braden Walters goes up for the touchdown. I mean, I don't know who 24 is, but he needs to get back in the weight room, son. That was crazy. But like I was saying, Yeah, you know, Anthony Richardson's a lot of up and down um, problems. I think that sometimes he can look really great, but sometimes he can look really mediocre, and I think that's one of the times where he's really mediocre. And you know, Jalil, I think he doesn't really have that problem. I think he's more of a above average, and then you know he has sparks of brilliance as well. But I think for the most part, he kind of sits on the same level the entire game, which is very impressive for a quarterback of him being a rookie. Because even though we know he's been that receiver, I mean that quarterback the entirety of his career, I think it's very impressive to just come in the league and immediately do what he's been doing in college, which not a lot of quarterbacks can do. You know, sometimes they don't translate to how they were playing in college, and you know I think that's really impressive for him. And see, that's what I'm talking about. What a throw, and they end up tying. But you know what? I'd rather them walk away with a tie than a loss to the Chargers. Very impressive way to come back against the Chargers. And now we're gonna have the Jacksonville Jaguars going against the Patriots, and immediately they end up going for a touchdown. And one thing that was very concerning out of this game was the bruised ribs out of Will Anderson. I think this team hasn't had a lot of injuries for the most part, but you know your star player Will Anderson is not something that you want to see on the end of the IR. You don't really want to see that. And 21-0 is something that's very concerning to start out a game. We're gonna see if we can get a huge catch out of Westbrook and a touchdown for J.D. Kimball, who I think finally has activated his hidden dev, and he ends up getting an X Factor. I mean, it's pretty obvious he was pretty dominant as a college receiver, so I don't really expect anything less than him. And Ben Becker over here dunking the football like it's a basketball on the post there. Huge comeback coming in though. I mean, Westbrook nearly getting in the end zone. Kiki Little doing it himself. 28-21, and Ben Becker, huge move out of him, and he's gonna make it all the way down into the red zone here. Gets sacked, so they had to kick a field goal. But nonetheless, they're doing very good for a comeback here. Not something you wanted to see on the 4th and 2 though. I mean, he just turned it up there. I think that was Calvin Ridley. Not something that you want to see out of that. But Westbrook juking air, I'm not sure what that was. But Trayvon Henderson gets the job done, making this 35-31. Oh no, they went for 2. Okay. And they don't get it. Ben Becker couldn't reel it in there. And then we have Trevor Lawrence read optioning, and it worked pretty much, and they end up scoring off of that. So now it's 42-30, and they get intercepted, and that's pretty much going to be game. They could have mounted a drive there near the end of the game, but I don't know. I think they just let it get away from them in the first half, and I think that's pretty much why they end up losing. Oh my goodness, Drango making people miss, making 2 people miss, and he goes all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. They end up kicking a field goal off of the defense, and Drango looks like he's just out there having fun, bouncing off of tackles like it's nothing. And Cahill, the rookie, like I was saying, trying to get his name out there on 2 back-to-back huge catches there. Drango in the flat, making a man miss. Oh my goodness, that's insane. And he goes all the way to the red zone territory. They end up scoring off of that, 28-20. After they end up scoring. Oh my goodness, Drango. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Drango just makes people miss, man. That's an easy win for the Cowboys there. And now we're gonna have the Patriots going against the Jets again. So see if they can get some. I literally just was talking about them, but I don't remember who won this game. I'm guessing the Patriots won, because there's no way the Jets beat the Patriots, right? Oh my goodness. Getting down to the midfield. Good stop by the defense. Ben Becker taking the top off the defense here and making this 14-7. And he throws up to Ben Becker again, who head tops. Oh my goodness, bro. Ben Becker has been such a dynamic athlete, bro. And you know, this is where I'm kind of interested where they're going to go in the next part of the draft next season, is what group of players are you going to really target in the draft. I think they should target some O linemen or some D linemen. I think honestly, the Patriots D linemen are good. I think just a big interior force, a D tackle, someone to put at nose, someone big maybe, or maybe some linemen. I think trench help on either side for the Patriots would be really good for them. Oh my goodness, immediately got a fumble, and the Steelers are over here kind of posting up for a pick. But Anthony Richardson doesn't get anything done with it. A couple of bad throws, and they end up scoring anyway off of their second drive. And now Donahue is trying to get something going here, and so does Thornton on 4th and 10, cutting it up there. And huge plays for Thornton and Donahue getting that drive started. I'm not gonna lie, I've been pretty underwhelmed with Anthony Richardson's performance, but he's just such a dynamic athlete that it's so hard to move on from him, because no one else has the same level of speed and arm strength as him. I think me just trying to develop him as a quarterback instead of shipping him off and getting another one is probably more beneficial for us in the long run, especially because I have him on a big contract, or I don't have him on a big, I have him on a long contract that isn't really that much compared to his skill level. So I think I'm just going to keep him around. I mean, any other quarterback in his skill level is going to be twice the payment that I'm paying Anthony Richardson right now. So I think I'm just going to stick with him, even though he's going to have a lot of low lows. I'm just going to try to, navigate through his second comings. But huge win over the rivals, the Ravens here. And honestly, the team to beat in the AFC North is the Bengals, because I'm pretty sure that they have a really good record. Joe Burrow has been on a tear lately. So I'm pretty excited to get back against them. But enough about the Bengals and the AFC North, because 7-7 is the score for this Broncos and Cowboys game. And Drango, you already know, he ends up going all the way to the house. And Jaden Daniels gets a nice throw in between two people to Kyle Pitts and finishes off with Drango once again getting his second touchdown of the game. And Cahill, huge route out of him, getting just the burners on, taking the top off the defense, and Drango making people miss. And it's looking like a runaway game, honestly. 40-10 or 42-10 is the score for the Cowboys. Huge win out of them. I mean, their offense is looking so dynamic every time we see them on the field. And I think we're just worried about more of their defense maybe. I think the corners and their safeties aren't really that impressive. The D-line is really good. But I think the defense should be the main focus of the draft for the Cowboys. I think they should really try to find some people to make scoring on the Cowboys a much bigger issue, because right now it's more about the Cowboys offense than it is the defense, because you have those dynamic receivers and the quarterback and the running back and the great O-line, but I think you really need to get that defense sorted to really move forward and be that team to beat. But 7-7 here for the Steelers and the Browns here, and Taj Rivers takes this. Oh my goodness, I didn't think he was going to take that all the way to the house there, but good change of direction to get up there. And on 4th down, huge run fill by Stephen. I mean, he's been such a freak of nature ever since he's hit the league. I mean, he's been doing what he was doing in the senior season of college. I know he was a little bit outshadowed or overshadowed by Kyle Lawrence, if you remember him from previous seasons at the at Pasadena. But I think, oh my goodness, look at Jalen Carter throwing that center into the running back, and pretty much getting his running back airlifted just because of it. And Stephen, as I was just talking about him, ends up getting a pick 6 off of the goal line. Very impressive. And I mean, that's what I've been saying. Like, he's really coming to his own from a senior season in college, and then now his rookie season, and now his sophomore season. I mean, he could most definitely be the defensive player of the year or the runner-up. I mean, he's been such a monster every single time we've seen him on the field there, and this game is no different. I mean, oh my, what the Devon Achane thought he was Najee Harris or something, just trying to jump up in the air. Huge win, 70-7 for the Steelers here. And honestly, we weren't really expecting a big game out of the Browns. Honestly, more worried about the Bengals if it's going to be a division game. So on to the next game with the Colts. Huge touchdown already for the Patriots, and Lenora Sellers, who, if you remember in the first season of this, oh my goodness, 85, what the hell? As I was saying, if you remember Lenora Sellers from the first season of this series, Lenora Sellers was the receiver, the quarterback. I don't know why I keep saying receiver for quarterback. Was the quarterback who we drafted in the first round of the last draft, and honestly, he was good, but I think he was single-handedly throwing away games for us, and we ended up trading for Anthony Richardson. I think that was the bigger trade. I mean, so far for us, it's been working out. I mean, 6-2 is a good record for Lenoris himself as well, but I think for us, we just needed a guy with the stronger arm, and I think Lenore Sellers was just the speed. You know, he didn't really have the arm power, so I think we both benefited from that trade because, you know, they wanted to move off of Anthony Richardson. But honestly, the trade has been beneficial for both sides, and I think the Colts do have a good team, but, you know, I think we won the trade. I mean, Anthony Richardson has been, for the most part, the saving grace of the offense in some areas. I mean, obviously, sometimes he does lose his games, but in the big times, he makes big plays, and that's exactly what I want out of a quarterback, out of anything else. So, and then Lenore throws an interception on the goal line, or not on the goal line, but reaching for the goal line there, trying to get something there. The backup quarterback ends up getting a safety. I think Kiki Little got injured, and it's pretty much over after that, and they end up losing the game to the Colts. So, not something that you want to see out of the Patriots, but nonetheless, that's going to be the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Honestly, the next episode, I'm going to try to include all of the gameplay for the regular season, but we're going to see. And besides that, just stay tuned for the next one, and I hope you guys enjoyed.